Hey guys, thanks so much for coming to our QHS Ambassador Hour. We love seeing you all. So we have Ron and Alex and Will today. How you guys doing?
Good.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Good to see everybody.
Hey Will, do you want to start off by telling the listeners just briefly what QHS is?
Well, QHS is a company that's developing technologies to help our bodies heal and to become what they're intended to be. We are frequency, we are energy, we are light beings, and this is a company that's focusing on exactly that. First of which device, a QT wave, is designed to deliver those frequencies that we need that keep us healthy, keeps us strong, keeps us at our best, and really feeds our bodies what they're looking for. And so that's what I know of it and experienced with it, and it's a beautiful thing.
Well, thank you. And it's basically this is the device he's referring to. This is our production QT Wave device, the handheld device. And my name's Tracy. My job here is VP of Communications, and I have been doing interviews with our members to gather their testimonials for the proof of concept study carrying around this personal device. And we have more fun things coming down the pipeline. So today, you guys, we're going to talk about 369 and what that means to humanity. And that was all stimulated from a conversation that Alex had a week ago. And so do you want to take the lead and kick this off, Alex?
Well, what I did was I showed a chart of Alfredo frequencies and how when you bunch them together, they create prime frequency pillars of physicality, at least in our dimension, which is third. Each dimension has prime frequencies because everything is sound, everything is color, everything is light. And what I did was I banded those together because that's what we're talking about. You know, Quantum Healing Systems is a nonprofit that is taking ancient technology, ancient knowledge that has been suppressed or in many cases lost to certain civilizations and bringing it back to the forefront today. And Dr. Alfredo and those gentlemen and others that worked with him for many, many years, decades on putting this technology together and then keeping it going after it was once again suppressed, bringing that technology forward. You know, in the ancient days, these frequencies were well known. Music was written to these frequencies. Bells were manufactured and created to ring at these frequencies. Flutes, violins, music was written at these frequencies. And what it did was it healed the body. It nurtured the body. It created a physical and spiritual interaction with the energy, with life all around us. And you know, something happened and all of those things were suppressed. And humanity kind of fell out of harmony with one another, you know, into a state of anger, frustration, lack, war, aggression, to where we are today. And today, this technology is being reintroduced through quantum healing systems in order to trigger a memory, a cellular memory in everyone, so that we can begin that path of climbing the harmonic scale back to where we should be, which is vision, intent, manifestation, and ultimately unconditional love. That's my 2 cents worth.
Nice. Ron?
I agree with what you're saying as far as frequencies. The frequency creation is a frequency. The creation energy is a frequency. And so we as creators have lost that ability to focus in on the creation energy by design, by the people who didn't want that on the earth. The cabal needs the negative energy and it feeds them. A plant takes sun and turns it into food for its body or for the plant itself. That's the way that the cabal needs the negative energies, because it feeds their soul. It feeds them. Without us, they could not have that and they would not exist. And so when we're talking about healing frequencies, it's getting back to who we really are, in my opinion. And if we learn how, see, we're doing something in a technological way that is natural, but we don't know how to do it yet. But if we did, we wouldn't need a machine. We would learn how to control our bodies to the point that we could be healthy and strong and find joy and happiness and love and recreate that in our lives. The cabal, on the other hand, wants us to remember the past, all of our past traumas, because that feeds them. And the past traumas are the things that we bring up automatically in this existence, or as we are presently, because that's the way we were trained to think. The cabal are not, the dark side are not creators. We are the creators. They've taken over our abilities to create things, and now we're creating things for them instead of for ourselves. We're the slaves, and we're creating things that they want instead of the things that we want. Now, if you take away the cabal and we're left to create the way we want, then things will really change. And that's what this new golden age of mankind that is coming is doing. And it's changing the frequency so that we can get back to the healing and to the love and to the joy and the happiness and the passions of life that feed us instead of the negative energies that are from the past. So I say, if you're thinking about the past, why don't you think about the future? Bringing up old stuff. Yeah, bringing up old stuff that has caused trauma before. Your mind doesn't know that it's not real right now. It just reacts to it. And that's why we got to get out of thinking about the past. What was the past? What is it there for? If you want the past, then learn from it. But learn to find the love, not the negative energies. I think that quantum healing systems is helping us to step in the right direction in a way that we can't do yet, to the point where we can learn how to. The next step after that is to start healing ourselves by ourselves, for ourselves, because we are perfect. Prime Creator looks at us as his creations. And he said, if you were to talk to him or them, well, I don't mean to, they're androgynous. They don't have male and female in the spirit world. It's just they're to combine together, and that's the balance that creates the joy and the happiness that we're looking for. Well, you come to Earth and then you're separated into duality. And that duality is the things that were created by the cabal to control us. Um, there are some interesting facts along that line. They had very high technology that didn't incorporate spiritual growth and development. They had the ability to, we have 12 strands of DNA. They took away 10 of them, or disassembled, or they didn't function. Well, that's pretty high technology, high tech stuff to do. And they did it so that it would last, it would make a new species out of us effectively. Death is not part of who we are. Death was created by them. Death was initiated by them so that we could be in a circle of death and rebirth, and that's called the karmic circle of life. And we're overcoming that. If we get a chance to get into these QArcs, it will change us. And if we have something like the home healing systems around us all the time that will regenerate and renew the frequencies that our body needs, we can live for a very, very long time. So this is where we're headed. And technology is the first step. And then we get to the point where we learn how to do it ourselves. And there's technology within us that we have never heard about or understand. So this is why it's all going to be a brand new world, a brand new age, a brand new. And see, one of the problems with a lot of people is they think that they can hold on to the things of the past and carry them forward. And that's what they're doing right now. Organized religion is really is a hard thing to work through, to find the real truths that we're looking for. But organized religion was organized by the bad people so that they would hold us and use our powerful creative energies against us and for them. So I look at war. Who created the airplanes and the bombs and all of the guns and stuff like that, and the ships? They're not creators. It was human beings that did that under the influences that we were brought up with. So we're getting away from that and using the creation's energies like those really technical stuff. We're going to start creating them to find joy and happiness instead of death and destruction.
Cool. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, it's interesting. This is a discussion we should be having regularly regarding 369. What is 369? 369 is the circle. If you follow the mathematics, it takes you in this figure 8, this infinity loop. And what does that do? It keeps bringing you back to the place of love. And all of creation on this planet is derived from the very same formula. And so we begin to utilize this pattern of love, these frequencies of love that continually bring us back to that place of oneness. We thrive, but not just we thrive, everything thrives. The plants, the animals, the everything, because everything upon this earth was put here by design to be in that state, to be in a state of oneness and love for one another. And that's the amazing thing is Alex, you said this a while back, and I know it's completely true, but what we give is what we receive. In other words, what we put out there comes back to us, right? Because it's this infinity loop. It keeps circling back and it comes back to us. And so, was we learn as human beings and individuals to use this love to use this energy, we become greater creators. We become able to, with our real heart intent, create beautiful things that come from our heart's desire. And the amazing thing is about technology and what Dr. Alfredo's done with quantum healing systems is he's taken this formula of love and continuation of there is no lack, there is no end. Life is eternal. Okay, when you look at it that way, and so when you begin to feed the body these things, these frequencies that allow it to begin to be receptive and to renew itself, we don't have aging anymore. We don't have disease. Disease is a dis-ease. It's coming from what is known as dissonant frequencies. And these dissonant frequencies were intentionally put in our lives by the cabal. Look at the frequencies of our electrical system, of our Wi-Fi system, of our cellular system. Are these congruent with the frequencies of Earth? They're not. They're at a specific frequency that keeps us dissonant, that keeps us in this place of disease. Disease is literally created because we're not in the flow of that infinity loop, that figure eight. And what QT wave device does, and what I've experienced, is it brings calmness. It brings us back to that place where there is peace, where there is love. When you have that device, it's very difficult to even get angry anymore, right? You just don't feel the need to go there because you're receiving what you need. And our bodies are beginning to get in tune with our spirit self, right? So I like what Ron said and also what Alex said. We are divine beings. We have incredible power of creation. The power of human thought is so powerful that when directed with intent, matter literally must obey it. It is something that has been known for thousands of years, that mountains do move and creations do come about when there's real intent put behind that. And it comes from that place of, before the call, we talked a little bit about faith, and faith is important. We need to have faith and we need to have hope, but more specifically, we need to have a knowing that what we intend to create will be. And when we put it forth with that kind of intensity, matter must obey. It must come into our existence. Now we're using these devices, the QT wave device that helps us as our bodies are learning. But like Ron said, we're going to eventually get to a place where we don't need technology because our bodies have learned. We've learned how to use our bodies in a matter of creation, that we literally recreate ourselves every day. What do we want to be? Who do we want to be? And so this is, it's something that drives it at the very heart of humanity. We're at an incredible inflection point in history where the awakening has brought people to this place where they now realize we don't have to be slaves anymore. We don't have to do the bidding of the cabal. They've used fear and control to try to keep us creating what they wanted. Why were planes and the bombs and everything created? Well, because this fear was instilled in us that somehow we had to protect ourselves, right? But it came from a place of fear. And what's interesting is when you get to that place of faith and love, fear melts away. It's actually very weak energy. It's very weak. Mm-hmm. And it takes an incredible amount. They have to work very hard to keep it up. because when you're in that place of love, it is expansive. It just moves out from you. And it is amazing what take 50,000 people in one place. If you can get just 100 people being truly intentional with love, it will spread like wildfire among the whole group very fast. And it's because as light beings, as God's children, we have this inherent power and capability. It's who we are. And we're not here to destroy. We are the creators. We're here to build up and to do great things. And what quantum healing system is about is they're about restoring this back to all of us, to the planet, bringing our health back, getting us to a place where we can begin to do great and enormous projects that are beautiful and that help and bless all of our lives. And I just think it's an incredible time. 369 is that formula. It's literally that infinite power that moves through and in all of us. And when we begin to tune into that, we begin to be in tune with these very source of truth. And truth always stands. When the dust settles from everything else going on and the craziness happening in our world right now, in the end, truth will still be standing because it is independent of any other force. And as we stand in our own truth of who we are, it is incredible what we can do for each other. I believe this with all my heart, that the greatest gift we can give ourselves and the world is to be who we are, is to be here right now, present with what we know we are here to do. And every one of us has something that we agreed to do when we came here. And when we get in tune with that, watch out. The mountains move, everything falls away, and great creation becomes about, and it's a beautiful thing.
So you just brought up
Nicely
something that
put.
I think I would love to hear all of you expand on. Okay. There's a lot of people who say to be who you truly are, to be your authentic self, to be, not to be the controlled, okay, with the ED, but to have that creation ability. So what I would love to hear you guys address is, who are we really? I mean, Alex has said this on our last call, is his ultimate goal is for people to realize who they really are. So I think that's a really important discussion.
We're soul. We are frequency. And that frequency, that consciousness, which we call the soul, has the ability to travel through dimensions, back and forth in time, but not necessarily carrying a physical body with it. Now, there are those who have developed technology that allow you to take your physical body forwards and back and into other frequencies. But when I talk about knowing who one is, what I'm talking about is breaking it down to its most simplest truth. And that is that each one of us is an aspect of all that is. The creation, the Alpha Omega, God, Great Spirit, whatever vernacular, whatever verb, whatever word, noun you want to call this presence. Now, whether people believe in extraterrestrial life or not, or multidimensional life or not, understand this. They are fully aware that this presence exists. Because no matter how technological they have become, no one can create a dimension. Only Source can do that. And within those bands of frequencies that we call dimensions or planes of existence, there is physical matter, there's life. They didn't create that, Source did. and it's inhabited by souls like ourselves. Whatever journey we decided to take as souls, we're on. So, I mean, we joke, and I've joked for years, I should have read the brochure. I should have read the fine print on my contract, and there's a part of me that knows that it's true because, especially here in third density, you can really get lost in the physicalness of it. And when you do, it's like trying to walk through jello. It's just, it takes so much energy to make it. And that's because we're looking at the physicalness of it and we've forgotten about the spiritual piece, intent, the idea that what you think is what you give is what you get. What you think you become. We forgot those foundational principles about our creation, about how to create. Many of us have been so distracted by physicality that we have forgotten to take steps back and decided on a spiritual level what it is we actually want. Now we can know physically, you want a home, you want a good job, you want a nice car, you want an airplane, you want a yacht. Some people want a submarine, whatever. But you don't take that stuff with you. What you take with you is your ability to create and the memories, the things that you look at, the things that, I had a fantastic teacher who said, the love that you withhold is the pain that you carry lifetime after lifetime.
Mm.
And
Nicely put.
that is an incredibly profound statement because, we all come in here as aspects of source, of creator, of God. And we buy into the physicalness and we separated ourselves from others. We don't see ourselves as a race, as a one big family. We have forgotten that because in many regards, going back to what Ron was talking about, there has been a tremendous amount of manipulation, changing of belief systems, suppressing the truth. But at a core spiritual level, we all know these things anyway. It's just we make a decision somehow, some way at different times in our lives, and we just kind of put it aside and say, well, I'll go along to get along. And what happens is we lose our way. We forget that we're spiritual beings first. That no matter what happens to the shell, we as a soul continue to exist, whether it's here or somewhere else. And I think that's the essence of what we're about. And reincarnation was taught in the Bible until 650 AD, when it was removed. And the reason it was removed is that the church couldn't get everybody to be afraid enough. They simply couldn't do it because people realized, hey, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to come back. So the church had no power over everybody. So what they had to do was they had to remove that truth, that spiritual teaching, and then several generations later, when everybody forgot that it was there, or generations that knew that truth had died off, those generations that were following it didn't have these truths. And this is where the church and other governments and things really began to manipulate the people. You remove it from everybody's sight, and then several generations later, nobody realizes that it's not there because they don't remember it. And if you destroy the books, you destroy the parchments, you destroy the monuments that share these things, then nobody remembers the past. And this is where they've really, really messed with humanity in a huge way. But on a cellular level, we do remember these truths because we're soul. We attach to a physical body at conception, and then we're born into the world. And, you know, there are a lot of children born today that don't have the veil anymore. They remember who they were before they've come in. We also have children being born today that have 3 strands of DNA that are turned on. We have people who have had near-death experiences that have come back after being dead for hours. They have 3, 4, 5. One guy in New Zealand had 6 strands of DNA turned on, and he was so in tune, he's gone into isolation because he can't deal with the rest of humanity with the consciousness that it's currently at. So there's a lot going on, but of course they don't want us to know. They do not want us to know who we are, because the minute we figure it out, we are going to turn our gaze on them and say, who the hell do you think you are? And they can't run. They have nowhere to hide. Nowhere to hide, because we see through it. We see it all at that point. And that's their biggest fear, is that we remember. And it's coming, and it's going to be very different for everybody else. You know, we're all on a journey. Not a single soul was born and hatched on this planet. We've all come from someplace else. We have all been on a spiritual journey and learning to create and manifest in physicality. I mean, that's the playground. The physicality is the playground. That's the lessons. That's boot camp. You know, that's the integrative process of, okay, you know, your intent can manifest and create anything. Well, that's the lesson. You know, that's the lesson. Being able to physically manifest and create, and then taking responsibility for your creation. And then, you know, sometimes we do that, and then we don't like what we created. So we have to back ourselves out of it and say, okay, that didn't go so well. So you refocus and you try something in another way to do things. You know, energy flows where focus goes. That's a truth on all frequencies and all dimensions. You know, and that's the gift from Creator. That's the gift that we were given, you know. So I think it's Will's turn now.
Will is so profound. I thought he was just a finance guy, but man, on that last little soliloquy, it was like, whoa, where'd that come from, Will?
You know, it's interesting. There's a lot of aspects to our life. Alex is right. You know, there are so many people that wander around trying to find themselves, but the real answers are always from within. They're always when we get within and we get quiet. You know, I too went through my own processes, and I found I had to get away from the busyness of the world, and I had to get out into nature to find mine. And I won't go into the details of that, but ultimately, when we find that and we realize who we are, why we're here at this time, and I can tell you this is very significant, because the people that are on this panel right here are some of the best, which is why they're here, because this is a major shift in this earth. It is changing dramatically right now, and God sent the best right now. We are here doing the work. And what's incredible is when people find that thing that calls to them, that they know, they feel in their heart of hearts, they're here to do. When they begin to do that thing, their lives change. They can no longer be happy with the mundane running the treadmill that the cabal put in front of everyone. They can't be happy doing that anymore. They have to be engaged in something that is calling to them to do. And each one of the panelists here on this call are people that are doing that. They are actively engaged in doing what they are here to do. And it is bringing about great abundance. It's bringing about love. It's bringing about forgiveness. It's bringing about the ability to learn from the lessons. Let's move on and go on to greater things. And all of this is before us. Yeah, I was into finance. I quit that. Why? You have no idea how dark and sinister that world is. And when you it was really interesting when I began to see sociopaths being promoted. I knew there was something really wrong, and ultimately it came down to, I left banking. Why? Because I wanted to go home and go to sleep at night. Because banking had become this thing where it was designed to fleece the people. It was designed to get rich off of everyone else's creation. And that's the system that we have. In fact, they create this system where the only way to create the money is to create the indebtedness, to get further enslaved, right? That isn't God's way. He's abundant beyond all reason, and he expects us to be the same because we're his children. We're here to be abundant in everything, in health, in our spiritual lives, in our financial lives, in our loving relationships with our family. We're expected to be wealthy in all of those. Why? Because it's who we are. And when we find that is beautiful. That is peace beyond understanding. And that's what awaits for all of us on this journey as we begin to reach that place of pure love, is we find that peace. We find that place where we are content. We are very happy. And for me, I think about this. I think, what is the greatest thing we could do? And in my mind, it's this: to get up every day and our only thought is this: who can I bless today? If that's your only thought and your only purpose in life, you will be excessively happy. I promise you. Because as you continue to give and help others, you continue to receive. I had this conversation with Alex earlier about if we don't give to another in some way, we can't create the vacancy within us to receive what we're after. But when we give that energy, when we move that forward, we now have a place to receive. And we receive in great abundance, and God fills us up. And we come away from the experience not feeling wiped out and down and depressed. We feel renewed. We feel blessed when we give to others. And Alex talks about, as you give, you receive. It's that loop. It's that loop of pure love. If somebody's in need and you give to them and they give gratitude to you and give thanks, they're receiving a blessing. Well, guess what? We receive a blessing too. All are edified and filled in that moment. And that's what we're about.
Love it. Ron?
Well, I'm just saying amen to both of these great minds and personalities. I just wanted to point out, we talked about Will and his wife coming home and doing better while she's at home. That's the influence of love. And I said that, but I'd like to expand on that. When you're with people who are loving, you feel better. You're with somebody who's grumpy and irritated all the time, that pulls your love into a vacuum, and it's not returned. So Will and his wife have created that loving home that is nurturing her back from the hospital and helping her to heal her body. And that's what we can do one with another. The God spark, it's hard to describe. When Prime Creator expressed us, here's an interesting. Who is Prime Creator? Or what is Prime Creator? What is Prime Creator? If we really understood the heavenly realms, we know that Prime Creator is pure intelligence, pure love. Those are the essence that when we're expressed out from that experience, we take a portion of prime intelligence or pure intelligence and pure love, and that is our God spark. And if you have a chance to talk with God, what do you see in me? Well, you're perfect. I created you. I didn't create anything stupid or dumb, or those are all stuff you get when you go into physicality, and it's just a playground for you to find out things that you're not. He sees us as purity, and he sees us as perfect. Expanding Prime Creator's intelligence and love is we'll call it a consciousness. That comes with us. And if we were true to ourselves and true to God, we would be creating that as the passions for our life. Excuse me. Our intent has to be, where is your passion? Because that's where your love is. Now imagine anybody that goes to work and they love their job, and what they produce is an essence of their love energy, and they put it out there for sale to other people. This is me that I'm giving to you. We have commerce going on, so if you pay for it, then I get some and you get this. But you have the money because you're doing stuff. I can't believe this here. You're doing stuff that you could do in your passion that's creating love. And the essence of that is a product that you make and put out to the world. And in commerce, that brings funds back to you. And if everybody was doing that and we had an exchange of products, yes, but let's call it an exchange of love. That's the economy that we're looking for. And that is what the golden age of mankind will produce. We're going into an entirely different economic system. It's right on the edge. But first we got to get rid of the people that don't want it. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be left behind, because as we do that, there's no place for us to create for their energy, and they die. They can't live with us. And that's the ascension process that we're going through. Now, we're going to get a kick in the butt with this. Is that the right way to say that? We're going to get some tremendous help from the heavens as more light is coming to the earth. And in that creation energy, that love and that light, we're going to change, all of us. Those who don't want to change will have a different way of living in a different hologram, Could be the earth, maybe in a different overtone. There's 12 overtones to a dimension. And the lower part of the fourth dimension is where the bad guys go when they die. They don't go to a life review of love. And how did you, and you hurt that person over there, and it's not a judgment. It's just an exploration of what you did. Well, they don't do that. They just go to the bottom part of the fourth dimension, and then they come back into the same families. And they don't have to be retaught because their cell memory knows what's going on. And it's a very rare one of those children that comes from the light. Well, all of that is going away, and we are going into the fifth dimension. So we've got a whole new life ahead of us, created with love and pure intelligence, which is the spark of God that we have to work with. God sees me as perfect. Well, I don't see myself as perfect. You know, I swear that guy that pulled in front of me the other day, he doesn't see that. That's not part of his judgment, because I'm purity and I'm perfection. God does not create anything that's not perfection. And so let's look for to ourselves. Let's look for the perfection in other people. Let's look for the real prime essence of who they are. And let's honor that. Let's not judge any of the bad stuff. Let's just honor the good stuff in each other. Let's create love. Let's love everybody. Easy words to say, especially here when we have good listening ears that love. It's harder when you're out there in the world. But it's our job and our responsibility to learn how to come from love. And that's the ascension process. Who are we? We're children of God, made in his likeness and image. We are creators no less than him. We have everything that he has to use for our creation energy. Now, if we really understood that, life will change very, very fast for us. So
it's interesting, we're talking about these concepts of life and living and being true to our spiritual nature. This is what's interesting about quantum healing systems, I think, is that they're taking this approach that we can be whole. We can be pure. And if you look at modern medicine, it's all about attacking the thing that's wrong. Okay? Whether it's going after the cancer or the arthritic knee or the whatever, they're always attacking something. Oh, we got to fix this. We got to fix that. But the QT wave device takes a different approach. It literally feeds us all frequencies that the whole body needs for health and vitality. It's it's a completely different way of looking at health. And I think that's why it works so beautifully. I think it's why we have such incredible results that come from this, is because we're feeding our bodies, our light beings. If you break every one of us down with a microscope and you look down, what are we? We're 70% water. Okay. H2O. And there's a lot of space in there. So we're not this solid thing that we want to think we are. We're not a rock. We're light beings. And we react to light and frequency in incredible ways. And so if you look at, as I said earlier, you look at all the frequencies they attacked us with. Wi-Fi, cellular, even the electricity running in the wires in the walls of your house. They're all on a specific frequency, and it's not congruent with the earth. So this has been a problem. But when we have devices like quantum healing systems providing, it allows us to overcome that attack and kind of put a little force field around ourselves where we can be fed all that we need. We can be in that place of love and light. And I think it really helps us to move forward on this journey.
Yeah. And you know,
Nicely put.
what I like to say to explain to people who don't understand is that your body's made of cells, which are made of molecules, which are made of atoms. And if you look at an atom in a subatomic microscope, what you're going to see is a few particles, but 99% of that atom is empty space. And that is where the frequency lays. That's where the light, the energy, the frequency. And so if we are nothing, if all matter is nothing but a cluster of atoms, and all the different frequencies of music is just like all the different organs in our body. That's why if they take out your gallbladder or a kidney, they leave the tail, because these different tails or these different organs of frequency act like a giant orchestra. And without the frequency of one of those organs, your body will die. So that reminds me of the music conversation, but that's why we want that harmony of all the frequencies. And that is if you take it all the way down to that basic building block of all life, it's all frequency. And one of you said something earlier about controlling the outcomes, and that's that God spark. You know, when Cynthia, if you guys haven't seen that video before, when she did the God Spark video, it's amazing at how she actually literally worked at Stanford and Lawrence Livermore Labs here in California. And they did these testings on the atoms, an atom accelerator, and they could not be in the room because it is shown, it's proven that the observer of this particle accelerator, if they're watching, they can influence that particle, and that's the God spark. So we do have more power than we are aware of. We are so much more than this, you know, dense body. And it's just, we need to come into our knowledge of our own self. And I want to close with just a couple words of wisdom of what you guys do as a practice, or what you recommend people doing as a practice to lean in to who they really are. And I'll jump at once.
Well, I spend as
Well,
much time as
go ahead.
I spend as much time as I can in nature, and understanding the complexity and the depth of who I am, I believe, is a pursuit that may last forever. And I'm actually okay with that. But, well, there's no but. But there was something that was once said to me by a very old teacher, that the worship of Creator is the creation of self. So that's where I go with that. That's where I go with it.
Nice.
And you
I
can
feel
figure
you
it
with
out.
the nature.
Huh?
I feel you with the nature. I love hiking and spending time in the mountains on the beach and just being quiet alone. That's my magic.
Do you hug a tree?
I do. When I get to the top of the hill, there's a tree that I go and I talk to and I put my hands on, and I do that.
Okay.
I too am like Alex, that I find that place of solitude and being with nature. Why? Because nature was created perfectly, and it carries out the nature of its creation perfectly. All the animals, the plants, the trees. And when you're in that environment where everything is being who it is, I think it really helps us to get in touch with who we are, and to further explore what we can yet become. And that's something that I do a lot too, Alex. I I go out and look for time away with myself. And the amazing thing is this is it's a self work. It's an interior work that we do. We begin to find that the answers aren't out there; they're within. We have them. We just need to get quiet, discover them. And so those are things that I do as well as I try to find, if I'm faced with a particular problem or issue, I take that to the Creator and I say, how do we work this out? What can you help me understand that I could better solve this problem? And if I do that and I'm willing to listen to whatever ideas come to me, I find that solutions are provided when we just ask, when we simply ask. But we have to be, I think, quiet enough to be on that spiritual level, because the answers are never out there. The answers are always a spiritual answer to almost every problem that vexes us. And when we begin to find that, then everything comes together. It's a beautiful puzzle piece and it just works. Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you,
You know,
Will.
nature has no agenda. It's just always authentic. And when you
Absolutely.
get into that place, Will, and you know your own frequency, when you can hear your own frequency, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter where you go. You can separate yourself from that insanity, that chaos, by just focusing in on your own frequency. And as long as you know that, you can just move through anything.
Well said.
Well
That's
done,
what I do when I
well
go to
done.
sleep. I listen to my frequency instead of counting sheep.
Well, you have
Okay.
chickens, right? You have chickens, so you count chickens?
Not when I'm sleeping. Okay, Ron, why don't you close us out?
If I had some words of wisdom, it would be these. We are creators. That which we focus on is our creation energy. There's a fulfillment center that I call the universe, others do as well. And they see me and I'm focusing on something. And they say, well, that's what they want. That's what he wants. Let's go get him that. And then I ask for something and try and work out the intent. And then I say, it has never happened in the past. It won't happen now. And the universe is saying, well, I thought he wanted something here. So he's focusing on that. I guess he must want us to create more of that. And they have no judgment over what we want to create, because we are the creators and there's no judgment in that. What you focus on is what you're creating and will be manifest maybe quicker than we think. But if you take a look at what you focus on, that's what you're telling the universe that you want. There's no judgment. They will create that. If I'm focusing on my hurt toe, then there's a good chance that, well, our bodies overcome that. But there's a good chance for something different. If we focus on it, it will be created. And then we wonder, well, I would never create that. Well, that's what you focused on. That's all we knew what you wanted.
Yep.
So what you want, what you focus on, is going to come to you because you are the creator of all your life experiences.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I love how it said, focus on what you want, not the absence of it. And once you focus on what you want, get out of the way. Let it come in. All
It's
right, you
coming.
guys, thank you so much for coming to hang out again today. This is awesome. I love these chats, and I love the wisdom that you bring to all of our people. So I look forward to next time. Have a beautiful evening.
Thanks. Bye, Tracy.
Thanks,
Thank
Tracy.
you.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Alex.
Thanks,
Will,
guys.
thank you.